Dope morning, everybody. Dope morning. This is your boy, John Patrick, and I am so excited to be here on today and excited about today's show and today's guest and excited to introduce him to you. So before we get started, just a couple of preliminary things. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go and do that now. Then not only subscribe to the channel, click on notifications so you can be notified when a new video is uploaded to the podcast, as well as click on that like button so that it can get shared with others just like you. Now, if you're on the go, you can always catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, or you can just watch it here on YouTube. And then if you're not following me on TikTok and Instagram, you can do that. You can follow me on both at the Dope As Dude podcast. So I'm really excited about tonight's guest. He is an extraordinary guy. He has been in television, a little bit of theater. This guy, he is now in education, and he is inspiring the youth of today and our future. So he is doing some extraordinary things, and I'm just so excited to introduce him to you and share with you everything that he is doing in his life today. And hey, I'm just really excited about that. So we're going to go ahead and bring him on out.
What's
Terrance,
up?
what's up, man? How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, John. How you doing, bro?
I am doing amazing, man. So is it hot enough for you here?
Boy, I'm talking about it scorching. Boy, I'm talking about hotter than fish grease. I'm talking about so hot outside, you get in the water in the pool and say, boy, you feel like you're in the tub. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. It is like
hey,
hot.
yeah, man. For
it was in the hundreds today. Like,
God,
that's just like
people.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
and we just
man.
in July.
Hey, I said it was gonna be a hot summer.
Yeah.
For all the people watching, we are in Texas.
We are in Texas, and we
feel
it.
Arizona, though. At least we're not in Arizona. It'll be worse.
How hot is it?
Worse. Boy, Arizona about 110. But don't have me on here clowning, man.
No, man, I love it. I love it. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Terrance.
Well, first of all, you said it all in the intro. Man, that was one hell of an intro. I appreciate that, man. You know, makes you feel like you did something in your life.
Yeah, send me my check, man. Send me my check.
I got you a whole $5. But yeah, seriously though, man. Yeah, I'm an educator, man, at heart. That's what I accidentally got into. But I'm an entertainer. But I'm really, to be honest with you, all my life I'm from the country, a small town in the country it's called Greenville, Texas. And I just always been a dreamer, man. I just always wanted to be something, to do something. The small town mentality, it just wasn't enough to me. It was just too small for me. You know what I'm saying? I had to just always think out of the box and figure out a way to be bigger and do something better and better for myself, you know. And I wasn't an athlete, you know what I'm saying? Not too coordinated. I wasn't all that smart, but I sure could fake it till I made it. But what I did have was a sense of humor. I had a little talent, you know what I'm saying? I love people, and I love talking to people and reaching people. And I'm also very spiritual, raised in the church. And, you know, my spirituality is important to me. So mainly, I'm a man of God. You know, people ask you that question. That's really what I am, you know. But I'm out here trying to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so how long have you been in education?
Oh, man. All my life. That's what it seemed like. It seems like I graduated high school, started college, and went right back to school. I have had a spring break my whole life. But now I've been in education since I was 19.
Wow.
Yeah, I started as a full-time sub while I was in college. Imagine doing that, subbing at 19 in high school. Thank God there was no social media back then. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, I've been in it so long, man. And I just was subbing just to, you know, pay the bills. And it was really, it worked good with my schedule and stuff. I didn't plan on being in education. I went to school and got a radio and television degree at Texas A&M Commerce. And when I graduated college, my boss at the school, I was trying to give him an invitation. You know, you give people invitations so you can get a little money for your graduation, you know. She said, "Oh, you want a job?" I was like, "Oh, well, I am for the intern for Kiss FM, which don't pay nothing. So I guess I do." And she threw me into a 5th and 6th grade math and science and social studies class. And I just had to start from scratch. And it stuck. It stuck. I've been doing it ever since. So probably in total, until my age here, 23 years, 24. Yeah,
Wow.
long time, long time.
So what keeps you going? Because you've been there 23, 24 years, and I know that radio television is a passion of yours as well. So what keeps you in education?
Well, on the entertainment side, the radio and television side, it's very convenient because you're off on holidays, you're off every weekend, you're off in the evenings, you're off for summers. You know, used to be off in the summer, not anymore. But you're off in the summer, so that was always giving me time to work. You know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, man, I didn't really realize that I would be good working with kids. I didn't really realize the impact that I could have. And growing up with a single mom, like most of us do, I found that a lot of kids needed that father figure, that uncle figure, whatever they need to be to get them to the next level. And I was also, you know, fulfilling myself what I was missing growing up by doing that. So help people, help yourself by helping others has always been my motto. And so that's what's kept me in it, man. I still don't understand it to this day. No, I'm serious, man. Like I've only worked at what, 3 schools my whole career, and every time I would go to a new school, it's like, okay, I got to start over. I got to develop these relationships, and it is instant. Like the minute I walk in the building, and I don't understand what it is, you know what I'm saying? But I said I'm just gonna have to use that, you know, in a good way, in a positive way. So the youth need us, man.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. So tell us a little bit about because you've been on Kiss Radio, you've been on
Hmm.
television. So tell us a little bit about your entertainment, journey and everything. And do you still do it? Or are you looking to
Yeah,
get back into it? Tell us a little bit about that.
man. Okay, so I'm like I told you earlier, I've always been a dreamer, and I watched television when I was a kid. I used to watch, Cosby Show is my favorite, and I Love Lucy, and all the comedies. And I used to would just sit in front of the television, and I would get so close because I wanted to be inside. You know what I'm saying? So I would just get so close to the television because I was so interested in how it worked and everything like that. You know, being little, you don't know what you're doing, and end up ruining my eyes in the meantime. But I've always wanted to do that, and so I would just act out things at home, fall out on the floor, making people laugh, doing things for my mom's company, whoever she had over, or whatever, and just like kind of just reenacting what I saw on television and getting in plays and being involved at church. And yeah, man, I haven't really reflected on my youth, but I've always done something, and then I was always pushed into the front. So by the time I was like maybe 4, 5, 6, they would put a stool up and I would speak in front of the congregation, and I pretty much started emceeing things at a young age. And by the time I got in school, I was in every play, I was in every talent show, I was just hosting everything. And then by the time I got in high school, I started doing something. Um, I quit the band. I was in the band. I quit the band to do something called Channel One News, and that changed my life. That camera in front of me, and every classroom had a television, even though this was the 90s, had a big boob tube in every classroom. Every morning we would go shoot it, and no rehearsal, we just go shoot it and edit it up real fast. We had one period to do that and put it out. And you could just walk down the halls and hear all the laughter and stuff, and that stuff just got contagious. You know what I'm saying? And it just made me just want to keep doing it. So I've been doing that ever since. And by the time I got to college, I said, I'm going to college to get a radio and television degree. I want to get into broadcasting. I want to talk because I talk too much. My teachers always gave me an S or an N on my report course that says talk too much. Well, what I've learned to do, when I got a student that talked too much, I said, well, you need to get on television, you need to get on the radio, you need to do something. And it
Nice.
works. So yeah, that's my journey. And I went to college for that, and we did the college news and comedy and shorts and things like that. And then thereafter, I started being an intern for Kiss FM. This was like early 2000s. And then one day, I was hooked up with this agency, and they sent a link to audition to be a host for a television, Dallas-based television show. And I remember this to this day. I had $10 in my pocket, and I said, "Do I want to eat, or do I want to put some gas in this old raggedy car and get to Dallas?" and I did. Went up there hungry. Went up there and got it. It was called D210 Television, and we started from scratch. And we just did things all over Dallas, like all of the movie premieres, all the concerts, all whatever's going on in Dallas, the arts, everything, red carpets and things like that. Just learning my craft. And but it was such a great experience. I was in my 20s and all the way up to my early 30s. I did that for 7 years, and we ended up covering all the Dallas Maverick home games. So I got to meet all the NBA. And I mean, I don't even know if there's any footage of this, but I remember when Steph Curry first started. You know how long ago this was?
Yeah.
I think I was one of his first interviewers, because he was so nervous. Yeah, and nobody really knew who he was and who he turned out to be. I'm like, I wish I still had that footage, man.
I'm quite sure it's somewhere. It's somewhere. It's gonna resurface.
Yeah, got to.
Wow.
And so I just did that all day. And then what I taught in school, I taught speech communications and I taught broadcast journalism. So, and then I would do all the talent and stuff in the school and do all of the school production. And so I emceed everything, and I've been doing it ever since at work. So I would do it at work and I would do it at home. So it's just second nature to me.
Wow. So you said earlier, that you are a dreamer, or you've always, or you were a dreamer and so forth. Do you consider yourself still a dreamer?
To the max.
To the max.
I'm one of those dudes that'll just sit and just gaze. Don't even realize I'm gazing out. Zoned out. People probably think I'm high or something. I don't know. But I've always been a dreamer, man, because I feel like when you dream, you just give yourself some hope, because life can bring you down. But if you steady dream, I think it just puts a positive spin on everything for you, to keep striving to work at something, And one thing I used to, the first thing I used to write on the board for the first day of school, I used to write quotes every day. But the first quote I always wrote was by Bill Cosby. And we talked about Bill Cosby. What he's done is what he's done, whatever. But the man was a genius. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I put the key to success is not being afraid of failure. I put that up there every first day of school, and that was the way I believed, and that's the way I wanted the kids to believe. And it just takes you a long way. So yes, I've always been a dreamer, man. And I'll never stop until the day I die.
So let me ask you this here, because I'm quite sure there are people that are watching this. And, when you reach a certain age, we're told that, dreams need to go out the door. It's time to live in reality, pay these bills. Don't worry about those dreams. Like, do you ever feel, or has anyone ever made you feel like, hey, you should give up and just... So how did you overcome that and not give into it?
I just couldn't, I could not. I would just let them say it. I'm like, okay, and I would consider sometimes, because nothing's perfect. You always have rocky times, and you're like, maybe I need to be doing more. Maybe I need to, get me a family and get a house and get that settled down in life. But forget that, man. That never appealed to me, man. I get fulfillment from, I want that. Don't get it twisted. But I don't want to, kill my dreams for it. I want it to coincide. I want to work together,
So for a dreamer, and do you believe when you are dating, or do you believe the one that for dreamers, let's not even say you, for dreamers, do you believe they require unique people when they're getting in relationships that can understand them, or can they just date anybody?
Definitely. That's been my main problem. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about myself. Because you have to find the kind of mate that's going to support that. But you also have to support them. You can't be selfish, and that's on both ends. Yes, man. I'm a naturally hyper person. Always on the go. I always want to do something. Sitting down a long time is not my style. I don't. You know what? When I'm at home, I don't even sit down until I eat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just not that kind of a person. So you have to be the kind of you have to have the kind of mate that will support that.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that, you own the fact that maybe that's part of your problem, that you connect with people who aren't equipped to deal with a creative, and I think a lot of people, they find themselves in relationships with people who end up eventually becoming jealous of their dreams and their passions and so forth, because they're investing so much time
Mm-hmm.
and energy into that they feel deprived. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad you know that you, yeah, that's
Yeah, for
really good.
real. Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
that's that's for real. It can happen. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's not even intentional. But you also have to. What I've also learned is I have to balance a little bit though. You have to give and take. You have to balance a little bit, and that's why I believe in supporting my whoever I'm with at the time. You know what I'm saying? As if I expect it in return.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about education again because I know you are like big on mentoring youth and
Mm-hmm.
helping them to become the best version of themselves. So,
Mm-hmm.
how do you stay energized and charged to do that? Because you're pouring into people constantly. So,
Mm-hmm.
how do you replenish?
Well, I start my day off with a prayer. I have to have a morning ritual because if I can't go to work half stepping, you know what I'm saying? I can't go into that realm, even outside of work with my friends and everybody. I have to start my morning off with a good prayer, and ask God to speak through me. Ask God to show me what I need to do to help somebody today. That's always my goal. I have to help someone do something every single day. But a lot of times you're you can't pour from an empty cup, you know. And for people that are mentors, or people that are the ones that people call on for everything, it's 24/7 in my life. I've learned to accept that that's just what it is for me. So I have to stay spiritual, and I have to stay, I have to have my me time in order to pour into people the way that they need to. With kids, man, I had to meet them. It's very challenging, man, because I was a college and career coordinator for the past 7 years, and I had to get kids to the next level, have to get them to graduate, and have to send them on their way. Um, and with the times changing, college is kind of, because the kids today are like, I'm not going to be in that much debt. You know what I mean? And I always kept it real with them about that. If you want to do this, you got to go to college. But what about a trade school for you? What about the military for you? What about, any type of trade? You have to do something. That's my rule. If you graduate, you're going to graduate, and you're going to do something,
Nice. Yeah.
whatever that is. So I had to meet them where they are. And that's hundreds of kids a year. So I have to individually, you know, meet them there and show them their path. And it's tiresome. It drives you crazy. Sometimes you can't sleep at night thinking, did I say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing? But it's always rewarding in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always
And
rewarding in the end.
you and I had a conversation, I think it was last week or whatever, and we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about, I was sharing with you a conversation that I had with someone, and I just
Mm-hmm.
like, you know,
Yeah.
said it how I felt it, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that you just said you have to meet people where they are. Talk a
You
little bit
do.
about that, when you're talking to people and everything, because maybe I'm guilty of not meeting people where they are. I just give it to them from where I am. So,
I mean, yeah, that could be true too. I'll get to give this credit to my mom. My mom, she said, talk to people in the way that you know that they'll hear you. So it's an individual thing. So if you're mentoring somebody or motivating somebody to do something, uh, say for instance, if you're trying to get someone to maybe get a new job or something like that. Well, depends on the type of person they are. If they're a sensitive person, or if they're really confused trying to figure it out, you want to come to them at that angle. If you're coming to them with the tough love is good, but it's only good once somebody is ready for it. Because tough love can push somebody away. So, like I said, it really just depends on the person. And if you know the person, if you get to know the person before you start trying to tell them what they need to do, or starting to, motivate them the way we do, um, figure out the kind of person that they are and how they'll be receptive. Because at the end goal, you want them to succeed. You want them to win. You say that all the time. Like, that's one thing I love about you. You want people to win. So it comes from a good place. It comes from a positive place.
yeah.
You just got to figure out how to land it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, and I am like guilty of that sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I try to, or I believe that maybe I'm a patient person when I'm dealing with people, because again, I do want everybody to win. That's my goal. If you
Yeah.
in my circle, I want you to have everything your heart desires. but I think like for me, and I think this is maybe where I go wrong. I just say maybe I go wrong. I think I get a little frustrated in the process because it seems like you're repeating yourself over and over again for something that you say you want. So it's like I have more drive about your dreams and passion than you do. So like how do you handle those type of situations?
Well, give me an example of how you do it though, so that I can properly answer that. Like, just give me an example.
Well, say for instance, like I have a buddy who used to have a podcast and he kind of like is not doing it right now. So, what I do is, I always ask them about it. I'll follow up and say, hey, what's going on with this here? Have you made any progress with it?
Right.
And then I will sometimes throw out like ideals for them, because I'm a creative person. I always go to thinking about things and I'll say, hey, maybe you should try this here. Maybe you should try this here. And now this is after me constantly checking in on you. And if I see you're not making progress, then I start making suggestions. And I think I guess that's how I always go. But by the time I start making the suggestions, they pissed. They like, dude, let it go.
Well, it depends on how you're making the suggestions. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's it. From what I heard, that's it. How are you making the suggestion?
I'll be like, hey.
Are you meeting them where they are? Or are you coming from the way you are, the way you think?
I think I come from the way I think.
And I think, in my opinion now, some people need that. Like if you used to tell me those things, hey, I'm cool with it. But some people not. No. Some people like, okay, you have to go, okay, so where are you with it? Okay, how can I help you, of course? And then you have to go into, well, if that person is a procrastinator, maybe they are afraid. Maybe they have a little fear in them. So how do I build up the fear to get that out of you? And then we can go in and say, hey, boom, 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 this is what you need to do. That's the way I am. That's the way I do it.
Yeah, that seems
I
like
have
a lot of
kids,
work.
man, it is. So if you sign up for it, I mean, you only sign up for it if you want to, because you asked them. Don't ask them if you ain't got. Hey, if you ain't got time, don't ask. Don't ask. Let them go on with their life. But like with kids, it's like they're scared to go to leave the house. Parents are afraid for them to leave the house. They know it's a whole new world, and you remember this growing up. And you have to have someone in your corner that's going to fight for you, that's going to be a champion for you, but also going to be understanding. This kid might take a little bit more time. This kid might need a little bit more sensitive for this person. So instead of me saying, hey, you got to do this. This is what you got to do. Where you at with it? Right? No, that don't work for everybody. And that just goes for anybody, friends, family, and everything. You have to meet people where they are.
Yeah. And I think, that is very important. And I love, even when you told me that, when we was having our own conversation, that you have to meet people where they are, because I think a lot of times we lose sight of where people are because we're trying to bring them so quickly with us. But I think the frustrating part in the world today is that most people, I think if you have someone that is trying to bring you along or pull you along or encourage you to move along, you should like really value that person in some regards, because we live in a selfish world now.
Yeah,
everybody is looking out for themselves, and I'm gonna get it, and you get where you fit in. They ain't worrying about it if you doing it.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword there.
It is too, and at the same time, you have to check in on people outside of what you're motivating them for and see what kind of day they have and what they got going on in their life, because they could be battling something, and you could be a trigger. You know what I'm saying? So it's just stuff like that, man, that you just have to really think about. Like, I always think first. And I always come at a very, very positive angle, because I personally, I can't stand any type of negativity. Any type. It just does something to my body. Like, I can't handle it, and I try my best to replicate that. I have to be a positive person, because I'm being selfish with it. If I'm giving that positive vibe, it's coming back to me. You know what I'm saying? That's the key to life, though. For real.
What you send out always returns. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about come right back to you.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna say that shirt too clean. I hope I get me one. You know what I mean? That shirt, hey, you clean now.
I appreciate it, and hopefully you get your shirt. Yeah. Yeah. So okay, so this show's it airs 6 a.m. in the morning, so people are going to be watching. And one thing I love that you said, and I want you to share what you do. You said you have a morning ritual. So what's your morning ritual? Because most people, even I'm guilty of this.
Yeah.
Normally my alarm goes off at 5 o'clock. I already know I need to be leaving home by 5:30. I got to let my dog out. I got to take my pre-workout. I got to do all of this stuff just to get to the gym by 5:45. So I don't have time for a ritual. I ain't got time to be, I just keep it moving or whatever. So but what is your morning ritual? Because I do know, like, when I did have a morning ritual, I would come home, or I would say my affirmations, and I would do all the other kind of stuff, and it helped my day out. So what is your morning ritual? What do you do every day?
Man, I just have to I have to get up an hour and a half before I leave, or I'm no good. Okay, I'm just not. I'm not a morning person, so I have to create that time. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a night owl. But I get up in the morning, man. I say my prayers, my morning prayers, and my daily affirmations, like you do, and make me a good cup of tea, cut on my jazz or my gospel or whatever mood I'm in today, and I just meditate and just get my vibes right. And I always just continuously pray. And I don't start getting dressed and getting ready for work until probably like 45 minutes until, after that. So that's just my morning routine. Like, it's very selfish. You know what I'm saying? I like my own space. I like the quiet. And I like things to go in the way I want it to be, set my own vibes, So that's pretty much it, man. Just prayer, music, tea, vitamins.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you've realized that works for you, and that is something that you continuously do as a self-care moment. Because we talk about self-care in the world a lot, and people always attribute that to getting a manicure or pedicure, but no, it's not always that. It's more to that. Yeah.
You take care of you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when you know that you've had that time for yourself. If you don't get it, if you have a hard day at work, or you get off in this traffic, or you just got so busy, or something happened, you had that time for yourself that day. You can feel good about it. It does set the tone. That's basically it. I have to set the tone.
Yeah. And do you set goals for yourself during the day? Do you set daily goals for yourself in the morning?
Depends on depends on what's going on that day. My main goal is to always ask God to speak through me. My main goal is to, whatever it is that my assignments are for that day, or whatever I'm doing, to do it the best that I can, but I just want to be a beacon of light for the people that I run into. And I don't meet no strangers. If you can tell, I talk too much, but I don't meet no strangers, man. Everywhere I go, if I'm at the store, if anywhere, I ask people how their day is, how you doing, just try to be conversational. Even when I don't feel like it, it just happens naturally, And that's just something that you just have to practice, I think. Something you just have to just say, this is what I'm going to do. And it just always comes back to you. So for people that are listening out here, man, in the morning, man, get up in the morning and get yourself going. And it's not perfect. Life is not perfect. It's always going to be some obstacles. But give yourself a little time. Do some self-care for yourself, because you're in demand. You're in high demand as a person. That's just the things we have to do.
And I love how you come back. You said this several times. It comes back to you, and I think that's what people miss so much. Honest to God, I live my life daily with that in mind. That everything I do, whether it's good, bad, ugly, pretty, everything, as soon as you send it out, and I said that 1,000 times on the podcast, as soon as you send it out, it's right on its way back to you. I think a lot of people miss that.
Yeah, man. That's it. Yeah, get yourself a morning routine, man. I don't know about that 5 o'clock though. Good Lord.
Man, I have to be at work I have to be at work at 7 o'clock. So that's why I get up at 5, do my workout, all of that good stuff.
And see, I work out when I get off. There's no way in the hell I'm gonna work out in the morning, be on time. I'm not. I'm late for everything anyway. No way, bro. They say that's the best time to work out, but not for me. After the end of my day, dealing with all the folks I done dealt with, a good workout, getting all that stress off of me, man. Then I go home and I have the best night ever, So that's just me. Everybody has their own routine. You know what I'm saying? Whatever works for you, bro. But people listening out here, man, take care of yourself. My motto is to help yourself by helping someone else, no matter who it is.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
And one more thing. Social media, man.
Boy.
Social media. I don't get on my phone in the mornings. I don't. I leave that phone to the side because I found that when I did, my mind shifts on that, and you don't know what's coming across that feed, you know.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I don't really do either, you know.
Most people pick up their phone before they even know their legs can work. You know,
That's
as soon as
right.
they pick their phone up in their bed, they ain't even got out the bed to see if they can stand up. But they know what's on social media.
I'm talking about quick. Now I'll be on it now. Don't get me twisted. But I don't start my day off like that.
Yeah.
Nah. It really works. Try it.
Nice.
You know, for those of people that don't try it, give it a shot. Just focus on yourself. Watch what happens.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try that for the rest of this week. I'm not gonna pick my phone up first thing, you know, and see what happens. See what happens.
Let me know how it goes, man. I'm serious. I'm serious, boy. It's life changing.
So Terrance, I know you're on IG and they can follow you at TLG_productions. Is there anywhere else they can follow you, or do you just prefer follow you on Instagram?
Right now, just Instagram. I do have a TikTok, but I have not really gotten into it enough to really know how to use it. I'm going to tell the truth, but I am getting on that too because I'm about to get my own podcast and stuff started. I'm putting that out there, and I appreciate your inspiration because you really have really inspired me. You came at a time when I was going through a little slump, and life was dealing me some hard knocks, you know, and I appreciate you, because it gives me motivation to get back on my game, you know.
Absolutely. So, and that's you know, that's the thing. That's what life is about, man. Just be available to help where you can help. Like you said, help yourself by helping someone else. So that's what it's about. So Terrance, we always close out with our guests, giving our people some inspiration, some dope inspiration to make it out throughout the day. So what you got for them? What would you say to somebody that, you know, they just getting their day started?
Be intentional on being you and being happy being you. Make it your goal. Make it your aim. Make it your desire. And all the rest will follow, I promise.
Love it. Be intentional. That's something I've heard a lot here lately too. Be intentional. Be intentional.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm just not a man full of advice. I'm working on it too. I'm a work in progress, bro. I'm a work in progress. We all are.
Yeah.
But it's an honor to be on the show, man, with you, man. It's an honor to talk with you, man. I appreciate your time and asking me to come on here. It's a blessing. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, man.
Really
the Dope Ass Dude podcast kickoff, just a quick announcement. It kicks back off July 24th, and that's on the Monday night. It's live, 7 p.m. So if you're watching it, tune back in this upcoming Monday. Going to have an exciting and awesome guest to kick off season 1. So I'm really excited about that. And you can join in the chat room. So again, everybody, thank you and have a dope day and go out and be intentional.
And wake your punk ass up. It's early in the morning. Dope ass podcast, man. I need me a shirt too. I need me a dope ass dude shirt. I need all that, man.
So playing. People, if that didn't wake y'all up, it just woke me up because I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that, but that's why he's my boy.
You know I got to get you. Hey, man, I appreciate you. I enjoyed it.
I appreciate you too, man. Right, everybody, peace.